and welcome to the channel. The page of the calendar has finally flipped over to February, and with regards to that, we have seen an absolutely lovely article published by The Express. She seems to really love The Express, regarding an article from the lovely Monty Don, arguably one of my favourite of the English TV presenters. In it, he discusses the essential tasks that need to be done in order to prepare for the spring. And I have a quote for you, but before I give you that quote, let's get the character. Me, blah blah blah. Baroque. February is the month when the garden really starts to come alive. By the end of the month, that extra light stretches to 6 p.m. It's getting lighter every day. Baroque. I'm adding Baroque so that you know it's an impression of Monty Don. So the days are getting longer, the overnight temperatures are slowly starting to increase, and it won't be long before spring is here. Even now, if you look at the borders, at least in our garden on the south coast, you're starting to see the starting of the early bulb displays coming through. We've got the tulips starting to emerge, we've got the ornamental onions starting to emerge. So it's all about trying to get as much work done now in a timely fashion before it really starts to kick off come March, when you'll be sowing seeds like a demon. So Monty Don has put a list of recommended jobs that he says that you should be thinking about doing now, especially during those periods of mild weather, to save you time later on. So let's get on with it. Let's start off with some of those jobs that he's recommending for February. Baroque. So if your ground is workable, then you consider putting in broad beans, you can consider putting in onion sets. That's a great one. If you're looking at seed sowing, there's vegetable seeds and there's ornamental seeds that you could be putting in place now. It's February, so you could start thinking about salad crops. You could put in for your like your sowing, and I just mentioned about onion sets, but you could look at putting in just onion seeds. It's a little bit late for them. You know, radishes, there's ornamental, like I say, a lot of ornamental plants, a lot of ornamental climates. That February is kind of like the first part of the year when you can start bringing these seeds in. I won't give you a massive list, but you can find lists online, otherwise we'll be here all day and I don't want to do that. But one of the other things he says is about moving plants around in the borders, putting in new plants in the borders. But like I say, you've got all or if you have them, if you've got all your bulbs starting to come through, the last thing you want to be doing is stomping around on the borders with your heavy boots and your spade. And all you'll be doing is you'll see some spaces in the garden, you think, oh, I can put a plant there, you put a spade in it and you pull up a load of tulips, which is that's not going to do displays any good. So I really probably wouldn't recommend moving and walking around in your borders at this time of year if you've got a load of bulbs going through. But if you haven't got bulbs going through, then be my guest, get in there, start doing some work. Monty Don is also recommending that you finish off pruning your roses, pruning your fruit trees, and having a go at your hedges. Now, regarding roses, traditionally they are cut in the second week of March, and it's like 6 weeks away, so I don't think it's a big rush to finish them for now in February. And also regarding the fruit trees, the only fruit trees I would even consider pruning right now are going to be your apples and your pears, and because you want to get these jobs done before you start getting the new growth coming in the spring. At the moment they should still be dormant, so cutting them will be absolutely fine. And you certainly would not cut anything from the pruners family, so that's like plums, damsons, that's cherries, what's the other one, apricots, nectarines. All of those you only cut in the summer during the driest part of the year, otherwise they'll be open to infection from silverleaf and bacterial canker. So absolutely never cut those, only cut the apples and the pears, leave everything else. And regarding the hedging, yeah, again, they're still dormant, and if you do some like repair work, some reconstruction, you know, some heavy cutting, then of course absolutely you can do that now. And you want to get it done so Come the spring, get that invigorated growth, and you should be able to get an early cut in. So if you've had to go in there and refurbish those hedges, it's a great opportunity to rejuvenate them for this coming year. Now, if you are finding the information in this video useful, or perhaps just mildly amusing and you'd like to pass it on, then by all means press the like button. It supports this channel immensely and helps us do what we do. Don't forget, you can also click onto the subscription button. Subscription is absolutely free and you can unsubscribe at any time. It doesn't cost you anything, and if you want to be notified whenever we publish a new video, then all you need to do is click on that notification bell. Anyway, let's continue to find out what old Boiled Belt has to say. Now, the last job for February that Monty Don recommends is putting down your mulches. Now, he doesn't say whether these are nutritional mulches or whether they're cold protection mulches, but February is quite late to do that, and there's two reasons for that. Because if you're putting down like garden compost or farm manure so you can get nutrition leached into the soil from the winter rains, then you've missed out, because I would have put these down when the deciduous plants drop their leaves. So you know the garden's kind of dormant at that point, and I would have put down those sort of mulches. Then you've got the whole of the winter for that nutrition to sort of rot down, break into the soil. The other thing, if you're putting down a winter mulch to protect, say, tender perennials from ground penetrating frost, then if you put that mulch down in February, you pretty much missed the boat. You want to get this stuff down again really early, the same as when you put down your feeding mulches. So to leave it till February, that just seems really counterintuitive. First of all, you haven't put down the protection, and secondly, you haven't given the manures enough time to sort of rot down and break down into the soil for the spring. And there's another thing, going back to the bulbs again. If you want to put down manures, mulches in February, again, you're going to be working in the borders, and if you're traipsing around the borders, you could be damaging stuff that's emerging, again, like your bulbs and some early herbaceous stuff. I'd like to keep off the borders really from about December until everything starts to come through, and then you can see where everything is, and you're not at risk from standing on it, because you've waited all that time for it to grow through, and all you've done is ruined it. So you've lost an entire year's worth of ornamentation. You're going to have to wait for the following year, assuming it survives that long. Look, I've got crocosmias coming through, I've got fuchsias breaking bud, and I've got herbaceous plants like this Lycomachia. I got this one coming through. So the last thing I want to be doing is stomping all over those. Some crazy talk. Now, before I conclude and you start commenting saying, why do you keep bashing Monty Don? Well, it's not actually Monty Don who wrote the article. The article is actually written by somebody else. The original texts from Monty Don are actually fine. There's nothing really wrong with them. But it's when people start taking his words and creating their own work that these errors creep in. So what I've done is taken out all the errors that were put in there by whoever wrote that article. But Monty Don is absolutely right. Come March, it's going to start getting a little bit mental in the garden. They're going to be seed sowing, plant growing, purchases. It's just going to be a bit crazy and very, very busy. So he is absolutely right. February is a great time, when the weather allows you to get a lot of these early works done. Sow the early seeds that you can, because you're going to run out of space soon enough to put multiple trays of seedling around. And on the whole, it's all good advice. But before I go, if there's anything that you'd like to add into the comments, any great tips, any plants that you're considering planting, growing, ordering now for the spring to steal a March when the work does start to come in, then let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And it's also a great resource for those other viewers who want to see. They do like to read and comment on the comments. And you're very welcome to do so. Anyway, thanks for watching. And before I go, just got one last thing to say from me from the past, when the weather was so much nicer. And with that, I'm going to bid you my farewell. Goodbye. Right, now, just before you go, if you want to see more content, more behind the scenes stuff, and images that I've taken of some weird freaky plants over the years, then you're in luck, because we have created an Instagram page. So you can find the link in our description. You can find the link on our main page, and if I'm clever enough, I might be able to get a link somewhere up there. Anyway, thank you for watching, And if you want to see more YouTube stuff, then check out this video here. That's quite a good one. And if it doesn't float your boat, then another one right there. And enjoy these while still got the strength, imagination and aptitude to make them. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.